Hi guys, welcome to this wonderful episode of Jenny Box. My name is Junko as usual, and today we're going to be talking about the ancient Egyptians. When I say the ancient Egyptians, I mean those that built the pyramids. Yeah, so in order not to waste your time, let's just dive straight into it. It's widely known among people that the ancient Egyptians, specifically the builders of the pyramids, were the predecessors of the current Egyptians that live in Egypt right now. I mean, the current Arabs that live in Egypt right now. But I consider these people ignorant because the Arabs that live in Egypt at this moment uh, came into Egypt 639 and conquered Egypt. You know, that's when they got control. And before then, the pyramids and everything was already built. You know, and majority of the temples were built before they came in. So I don't understand why mainstream archaeology is trying to attribute this, uh, the building of the pyramids and a lot of the temples to the current Egyptians that are living in Egypt right now. Also, the current Egyptians are more like a landslide away from the Kemetic culture. You understand? And the only thing that could be attributed to them is the building of Cairo, the city of Cairo. Yeah, they were the ones that built the city of Cairo for sure, no doubt about it. Yeah, so there's been series of invasions from superpowers at that time, you know, in Egypt, but none of those invaders can be attributed to the building of the pyramids and even the Great Sphinx. You understand? But there've been hieroglyphics on the walls and tombs and and temples that could be attributed to some of the invaders. An example is the Romans and then the Greeks. Yeah, you do not need a supernatural brain to be able to tell who the actual ancient Egyptians were. Looking at the way they portray themselves in their sculptures, you understand. That's mean to say that there's possibly an agenda that is supposed to go on in the future. Is why the noses of majority of the sculptures were broken, so that they cannot be identified as what Africans. You get me? Because I don't see the reason why the noses of such sculptures should be broken. And then even the nose of the Great Sphinx that sits majestically on the Giza Plateau, have the nose broken as well. You understand? I mean, even though some people say that it looks like a woman, and but I believe that speculation though that it looks like a woman. You know, as if that is not enough. Egypt in question is being taken away from Africa by way of turning it to be part of the Middle East. You understand? When um, Madagascar, that is literally on an island, at the side of the African continent, which is about 400 kilometers away from the continent, is being considered as part of Africa. But Egypt, which is attached to the continent, like is being termed as the Middle East. Like, make it make sense. This does not make sense to me at all. Anyways, my reasons for believing that the ancient Egyptians were actually Africans is as follows. First of all, I want to start with Herodotus. Herodotus, who was a Greek historian, happened to have visited Egypt a couple of times and wrote about Egypt and the people he saw, right? And Herodotus stated that the Egyptians were black people. So who am I? Well, who are you to argue with Herodotus when he actually worked with them and probably spoke with them and yeah, so why would anybody think otherwise or try to battle what Herodotus, who has experienced the Egyptians by himself, first-hand witness, who in his right sense would want to argue with something like that or somebody like that. Yeah, my next point is King Tut's tomb or King Tut, right? King Tut is also termed as the boy king. The boy king because he attained to be the pharaoh of Egypt when he was 9 years old, and then he died at the age of 18, right? So hence the reason why they call him the boy king. Right? I don't know if at that time he was termed as the boy king, but in the archaeological world, I think he's termed as the boy king. So yeah, I mean, his tomb was discovered in 1922, and That was the tomb that was discovered. I mean, fully intact, like 100%. Nothing was moved. You understand? So there's this sculptures that were at the entrance of the tomb, like two sculptures facing each other, like more like guarding the entrance of the tomb, right? And they were dressed in pharaohic attire, and you know this sculptures depicts King Tut himself. So obviously um the sculptures were painted black and then dressed in gold and everything, but the skin of the sculpture was black, right? So that being said, whoever that sculptured it or whoever that carved it obviously carved it in the image of King Tut himself. So I consider this as an evidence of what of the present race of King Tut. I mean at that I mean at the as the race of King Tut, sorry. And finally, I think cultural similarities or cultural continuation, by the African society is also an evidence that their predecessors were those that lived in Kemet for a while before the invasion pushed them downwards or pushed them to spread widely on the African continent. And for example, the ancient Egyptians believed in life after death, right? And so they bury their dead with treasure and some worldly belongings so that the person would have a smooth journey from this world to the afterlife. You understand? And in the African belief system, that is also very active. The Africans used to bury their dead the same way. I mean, some people still do it. Some Africans still do it, right? But unless, and these are people that have not converted to Christianity or Islam, still practice it. You understand? And then the ability to read the stars, to I mean the cosmological way of things, it's also practiced in several parts of Africa as well. Yeah. So, and also there are some tribes or ethnic groups in Ghana that believe that they originate from Egypt, right? Because there are songs and there are songs and I mean dances and then drum languages that tell us about such stories, about being originating from Egypt. I mean, for example, the most popular ethnic groups, the Akans, the Ewes, and then the Gans, right? Especially the Ewes, right? The Ewes claim that the name Kemet is not actually Kemet, but rather Keme, meaning within the sun, or let's say in the sand. You understand? So they claim that the early archaeologists were those that corrupted the name from Keme to Kemet. You understand? So I mean, this brings up the end of the segment, and I hope you follow for more. And if you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, like, and then share with your family members and anybody else in your network. Peace out, guys.